You're about to watch a clip from the Videomaker podcast. To watch or listen to the full episode, click the link in the description. Eye lines. This is a concept that is, it's very easy to overlook this, and so easy that a lot of professionals overlook this concept. And you see it violated all the time these days thanks to like a style that was kind of popularized in the aughts, I guess. So this has to do with effective communication and second versus third person perspective and flipping back and forth. So do you remember this concept, Chris? It's a very obscure one.
I'm listening.
Okay. It's a very obscure one. So the idea is you have to consider where your viewer is in a scene physically. Where are they in the scene? And then maintain that consistency. So is the viewer a fly on the wall watching something happen? They're third person. Or are they a participant where when there's dialogue, they're one of the participating members? So imagine this idea. So in most every movie, the viewer, so the person sitting on their couch or in the theater, is watching from a third person perspective. It's very rare that a character or an actor on screen turns to the lens and talks directly to the viewers.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, some cases they do that, right? Saved by the Bell, and also Wayne's World, they do that.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But even in those cases, they point out you've been a passive observer this whole time. Now you're a participant, and then when we're done talking, you're going back to being a passive observer. I'm going to turn back to Garth, and we're going to continue the scene, right?
That's breaking the
fourth wall.
The fourth wall. My son knows what that is and likes to call it out when he sees it watching a show. Hey, he's broke the fourth wall.
Yeah, yep.
And he's 8. I love it.
Yep. Likewise, if you ever watch a documentary, there's lots of interviews. Most of the time when they're doing interviews, the person being interviewed is looking just off camera, as in the viewer is a third person. They're a passive observer to this thing that's happening. Occasionally, you'll have a situation where rather than talking just off camera, the person on screen is talking directly to the viewer. If you ever watch Intervention, I think they do this. But it's basically rather than talking to someone off screen, they're looking in the lens. They're talking to you. You are the viewer. I'm talking to you. This is a two-way thing. I'm looking through a portal at you. You're looking through a portal at me. And the concept is maintaining that consistency of perspective of the viewer. So the thing that you see all the time since, like I said, the aughts is this style where there's a jump back and forth, not even between scenes, but within a scene, where the viewer is an active participant. The person on screen is talking directly to them, and then they will cut to the camera as a third person, now watching the person speaking, talking to someone off screen. So it's a violation of eye line and a violation of this perspective of where the viewer, what role the viewer is taking part in this production.
Yeah, and when you're shooting, I think if Ferris Bueller's Day Off does this quite a bit, where he'll talk to the audience, and then all of a sudden, but the rest of the characters aren't aware he's talking to the audience. It's just his connection, and then boom, back in scene, and you don't exist. You're just watching, and they're not aware of it. And this is one of these things that I ran into a lot making commercials, because I'd have spokesmen, I'd have people that were doing testimonies. So spokesmen would be, buy our gutters, we're the best. We're telling the customer directly, buy our gutters. Whereas testimonials, Rick replaced my gutters, it was just so amazing. That they might be saying that to you, or it might be like they're saying it to somebody else. And it was always important to tell who's on camera who they're talking to. The people you're talking to are inside the camera. No, I want you to talk to them off camera. Why are you doing this? And that's usually the easiest way to figure it out. It's like, why would I have them look into the camera? What's the justification for this? And it seems, when even the news sometimes, someone's looking at the camera and it's not, they shouldn't be looking right at the camera. They should be talking to the reporter that's supposed to be just off camera.
Yeah, and it's okay to switch back and forth and make these transitions deliberately, right? Just like Ferris Bueller, just like news reporters often, they'll do the thing where they're talking to the camera, as in I'm talking to you, the viewer, and now I'm turning my attention to this other person. We're going to talk.
Yeah.
The weird part is when instantaneously, mid-sentence, the camera goes from being the viewer as a participant to suddenly, in the middle of a sentence, now being the viewer as a fly on the wall observer. As in they themselves have changed identity from being the person in the middle of a conversation to the observer of a conversation. Good films when they break the fourth wall, they make these transitions deliberately and noticeably so that the viewer feels like they're an observer for the whole time. They know that they're being turned to and addressed, and then they know when their role has been switched back to the observer.
I've seen some cool. TikTok is doing a lot of like camera cut tricks. You're using these types of illusions for storytelling, and the idea of like showing us scene. This is one where a woman is. They're trying to make it look like she's going to be oppressed by a shoe, and so someone's got a shoe here, so they're doing forced perspective, trying to do it. They stomp down, she leaves, they pull it up, and it's showing gum string or whatever, right? So you have that, but they have that scene, and then all of a sudden it cuts back to the person filming, so you're seeing them and then how they're making it. But I've seen one more where they actually put the person you were supposed to be still in the scene. So you can see kind of where you've come from to show some space, but that was in a way of revealing. Like they're trying to show the inside, so they catch you with what they're actually trying to achieve and then dissect and show you what they're doing through this this process of kind of revealing, which is really neat storytelling. And like, when are you ever going to be able to do that kind of meta kind of reveal in anything else, let alone in a 30-second video?
Yeah, there is that other element. We're talking about second and third person perspectives, but first person perspective is a whole other can of worms for sure.
Yeah.
When the camera actually the viewer becomes a character rather than observing them or participating with them.